Good evening and welcome to the Conservation Commission's meeting on Monday, December 12th, 2022. Year's coming into a rapid close. Pursuant to Chapter 20 and Acts of 2021, the meeting will be in person and via Zoom. In person will be at the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, Foxborough, and the meeting may be accessed remotely via Zoom. Do you know if we're having anyone zooming in, Diana?
I haven't heard from Rich.
Okay, all right. But
Rich said that, I'm sorry, he called, he sent me an email last minute, and he said that he may not be able to make it, but if you needed a quorum, and he could zoom
okay,
in.
all right. So, and I don't know if anybody else zooming in, but anyway, I'll call the meeting to order. Being 7 o'clock. Do we have any public comments? Have some minutes you want to approve?
We have minutes of November 14th, 2022. Okay. It included Lawson Farm subdivision, which I found was pretty accurate, and 20 Ridge Road, which is the most important in the detailed information that Jim cited concerning that situation.
Okay.
And other than that, I think that these minutes are acceptable, unless someone else has their own opinion after reading them.
So would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of November 14th.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So accurate.
Since this is a request for continuation, I'll declare it 7:05 PM pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267. The Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, December 12th, 2022.
Bob, can I say something? I gave you the wrong instructions. He gave a 21-day waiver to open the hearing.
Okay.
So that's what I was initially saying I'd asked him about, but he said,
Okay.
just don't even
So
open
we
it.
don't
Just
even
waive
open it?
Waive the 21-day requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have received a request from the applicant to waive the opening and the 21-day opening legal technicalities, so we will not open it.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was still running on my old script from like about an hour ago.
Oh,
It was changed recently.
all right. So we don't even continue it or anything. Nothing happens for that. All right. That's coming up. Cocasset Lake Association. Again, just for the secretary, would you introduce yourselves, please?
Jim Lowry, 20 Woodland Road.
David Kaluzdian, 100 Granite Street.
Brandon Stacy, 48 Granite Street.
Okay, thank you. So what do you have for us?
Just a follow-up to some of the things that you guys had requested at the last meeting.
Okay,
Okay. One David specifically advised us to do was to reach out to the Mass Fish and Game, which we did. I had a good conversation with them. I followed up with an email to Jane, and they said they don't have jurisdiction, so it's not up to them.
okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
because it's private, and they're all the way up in Air, I think. Jane had given me the contact information, but they were very good to deal with, but they don't have jurisdiction, so they said that they don't have concern about what we do with the boards. But I let them know why we were calling.
Okay. Did
Did
they
you
have
say-
any recommendations for you?
No.
So when we can put all the boards in at the same time and the water comes in, eventually it's, Jane, I think you saw it, or some of you may have seen it, most of the water's back in now. But they did not know. I explained to them that we work with GZA, that we do every 5 years, we do a dam inspection. Gave them a lot of information, but because they didn't have jurisdiction, that they didn't have too much to offer.
And they didn't have jurisdiction because why? Because it was, they don't stock it or anything like that?
Correct, yeah, they
Is that
said
the deal?
it's also private,
Okay.
so that was, I think, the main issue is that it's private, but they also, you're right, they don't stock it. And that was the first thing they asked, do we stock your lake? And the answer was no. So that was that piece. And then the other piece, just to give you guys information on, was we have an engineering firm that we've worked with for 30 years now, GZA. I think you folks some of you folks are aware of them. So we did talk to them after you had suggested, after that meeting. And the form that we would need to file would only be if we were going to do repair work to the dam. But because we were not, that's why they said, we were all questioning, why didn't they tell us to do the form? And that's the reason why. And they're very good. They work here a lot. You probably know them, Jane. They work here a lot, so they'd be happy to speak with us. I'd explain to Jane, we could have a Zoom meeting if we needed to or wanted to, but they're very open and very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was under the impression that whenever they lowered the dam, they did repair any cracks in the mortar and stuff like that. So it wasn't all that clear. Wasn't clear to me, so I'm glad you spoke to GZA about it.
Right. And they still haven't, we don't have the official report back yet, do we?
You
Oh, we do,
forwarded
okay.
something to me.
Okay. So we now have an official report from them, but we are going to
It's
stay.
Wetlands and Waterways, though, not GZA, right?
No, we forwarded you Wetland and Waterways, that's correct, yeah. GZA, we're going to continue to work closely with them. We're going to go over it with you. We also have our, the straw man of our lake management plan. Jane had sent us an example. And so we went from that. We have multiple tabs that we can share with you. But one of the tabs is an emergency action plan, an emergency action plan, and we're going to work with GZA to get that done as well, to the cost of about more than $5,000. But that is so that we can give it to the police and the fire, and it identifies all the communities or neighborhoods that could be affected if our dam were to fail. So that's something that we have to do in the next year or so, and we're going to work with GZA to do that. So they have, for us, they have been a very good partner, and they've given us a ton of good guidance as well.
Okay.
And then sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I haven't been down there recently. I've been tied up with other things. What's the status of where you want to put the fences? Any changes?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that as well. So another thing you guys had asked us to do was a lake management plan, so we now have that. It's obviously a plan that will be a living document. We're actually, for our teams, for our team, I should say, 35 members, we're going to actually put it on Google Docs so that folks can access it easily, and it's a living document. But we'll also have the moderator will always have a hard copy of it as well, which we'll print out once a year. So that's that. And then we met with Jane a couple of times before, just to get her guidance, and we are going to file, we're going to come to the next meeting, which I think is in a month, right?
I think so.
And so we're going to file
More than a month.
Right. And we'll file the form. I'll make sure I get the form to Jane 21 days prior, but that would be to put the boulders in the lake, as we had discussed. So I've shared it with Jane. You see, pretty okay with it. I had the tax person sign off on it. We got the plate and blah, blah, the plate
Yeah, but you had
number.
included the fence, too.
There's two different efforts. So first one is the boulders or the fence did you ask about? I'm sorry.
Well, I just want to know the status.
Yeah, there are two different efforts.
Yes.
Yeah, so the fence, you said we just have to put in now a notice of intent.
Yes.
So we'll have that for the meeting a month from now. The boulders, we're going to file for the WPA 1.
Oh, so that's the one that you're doing a month from now? I thought you
We're
were
gonna do
doing the
them bo-
boulders a month from now.
I thought we'd do them both.
Okay.
The WPA 1 for the boulders,
All right.
and then we'll do the WPA 1 no, not the WPA 1, then we'll do the notice of intent for the fence.
Now, when he came in and talked to me, I was kind of confused, because I thought that that when you spoke of use of rocks rather than a fence. I thought that you determined that putting large rocks in the actual boat ramp area, if you want to call it that, would deter people. I didn't think that you'd spoken about putting it in the water, but I'm told that the cemetery will not allow rocks to be put on that boat ramp on their property.
Okay.
So they want to put these large rocks in the water. You know that they might discharge
You were saying that, yeah, so,
iron and icky things, because that's what happens when you take a rock and expose it to water if it hasn't been before.
right. So Scott Martiniak, one of our lake members, is gonna get so you guys had suggested going to the town that they may have large rocks. I did reach out to the town, haven't heard back from them, but I didn't have to follow up with them because Scott is gonna be able to get us large rocks. The plan was.
I know where he's getting them from, too. I will caution, I'm very afraid of Scott doing anything. Unfortunately, I do not think he has much regard for the Conservation Commission or their rules. And talk to him about Garrett Spillane Way if you want, and you'll understand why I'm not very happy with Scott.
Okay.
So just be aware that anything that he proposes, I want to see before it's done.
Okay, yep.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
He does not have a good record with me or the commission, so.
Well, the other option could be that we could use Willow Grove. I'm just not exactly sure if they would have, I mean, I'm sure they would. We could talk to Willow Grove as well, but Scott would save us money as an association.
Understand, but again, Scott does not leave a very good taste in my mouth, so.
Okay. I'll make sure
That's
you know exactly what's gonna happen.
All right.
So,
then-
Jane, do lake management plans have to be provided to some state authority for their knowledge as a requirement in maintaining a
I don't know, the
waterway?
emergency management plan, I assume,
Yeah,
has to.
the EAP
But the lake
does.
management plan is an internal plan.
Right.
Okay.
It's just basically a best management practices that can be referred to and adhered to, and like you said, a living document that can change and such. I actually gave him a copy of a lake management plan that I had in my examples, because I'd love to get one for all of the ones that you overlook, but haven't had the bandwidth to do it. I wound him up and let him go, and it sounds like you've got a pretty good one going.
Dave is our new moderator. Brad is supposed to be here, he's working, yes, so like we have.
Table of contents.
Okay, actually, yeah, yes.
Ooh, can you give me a copy?
Of the table of contents, we sure can. In fact, I'll give you this copy.
Oh, no, digital. Would you do digital? I
Oh,
don't need
sure,
it.
sure.
Paper bad, paper
Yeah.
bad.
So it'll have a preamble. When someone moves onto the lake new, we give them the rules of the lake, and that is to wash their canoes and blah, 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 and to not have any grass close to the water. Anyway, actually, Jan, we probably got most of it from you now that I think about it, but,
Well, knowledge is power, basically.
Right.
I mean, a lot of stuff is not just automatically known.
right,
It's not intuitive.
yep.
So here's a question for you. How can the police and fire department access the pond for emergency purposes?
How can they access our pond for emergency purposes?
Considering you have a fence along the road, there's no way to access unless you slip in on the west side where they got the couple canoes stored there.
Well, it's landlocked by private property, but there's several of the homes that all they'd have to do is ask, and they could get onto the water, even on my property. And through the beach, actually, we have a common beach for all of the residents, so that.
You must be putting that in your emergency plan?
Right, but that's how water and wetland access our lake, is through our beach. And they bring.
Oh, okay.
They bring in a big.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they bring in a big truck with a boat, and so they have a large, situation that goes in, so the police would be able to do the same.
They know it? Because sometimes they used to use the cemetery site.
They used to, yes, we we asked them not to do that, we stopped that. But the police were just there, actually just before the 14th in November, and they've been down to the beach with me, and yes, they're aware of
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah. So we have a preamble, history, the description of the Cocasset Lake, we have our lake management plan discussion, and then we have role of individual homeowners and shoreline management. We have our bylaws. We have the order of conditions, which you guys have as well. We have our annual meeting minutes, a treasurer's report. We have the water and wetland report, which is the year-end report, which Jane just received, which we'll make sure you receive every year. If you remember Solitude, they weren't getting it to you unbeknownst to us, even though we were paying them for that. That was unfortunate. And then the GZA report, and then the emergency action plan, action plan. So that'll be, and we'll probably have, I'm sure we'll have more tabs as as people get excited about this plan. But anyway, that's where we are today. Dave did a great job putting this together.
Nice, nice.
So one question is that prior to doing the treatment, GZA was supposed to do a inventory of the any animal species or whatever on the waterway or in the waterway. Have we ever received?
Wetlands and waterways, you mean?
Right.
Yeah, that was something that we always required. I think it's in the order of conditions that's supposed to be done.
Well, I think we asked that last time, and then we were told that they couldn't afford it. But then when that 31 Water Street filing came along, it would have really been helpful for them to have that.
We did one,
Did you?
yeah. We paid, Brad's not here, we paid, we did do one.
Did you give us a copy?
We did not, I don't know, I can find out.
Is it included in there?
Yeah,
It is
should
not,
be.
it is not in here, no.
There you go, add that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you
we can add
should
that,
have, because that's part of your, prior to
Absolutely.
doing, treatment.
right,
It's your base, it's your, base point too as
right,
well.
yeah. And it was, you're right, it was like 20.
Then as you make the lake better and better and more critters use it, you can document them as well.
That's right. And it was $2,500, like you said, it wasn't inexpensive.
Nothing is.
Nothing's inexpensive,
Nope.
except for meeting with you guys. It's no cost, no cost. And so that's, I think we covered all your direction.
Anything else, Jane?
I don't know, want to give them some marching orders about the request for determination details and the notice of intent details?
Okay.
The notice of intent needs to overcome certain presumptions of significance, especially under the bylaw. So, I mean, the commission's going to have to, if it's within the 25-foot no activity zone, they're going to have to make some sort of finding about why this is okay. So that's when I was saying give and take. If there was a way for you to restore the vegetation at the lakefront, especially if you were to, if the commission approved a fence, which would probably keep riffraff from pulling them out and dumping in the water like we all assume they will.
Right.
That's kind of what we're asking of people with waterfront property. We'll say, well, you've got grass down to the edge of the water, and you want to do this, this, and this, it's going to increase the impervious area. Well, would you increase your natural buffer zone to the, as close to 25 feet as possible? And people are doing it, because nobody wants to ruin their water.
Agreed. So our issue is that we don't own that property.
That's not my problem. Maybe you could get them to say, okay, wouldn't it be lovely if we had nice native vegetation across that whole opening?
Well, we can do that. Our plan is to put vegetation behind the fence. But we would probably put vegetation up first. But I think we're all pretty sure that it's going to be thrown in the water. That's just what happens.
Well, what I'm thinking is, this is, like I said, we have to treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
And we've got lakefront policies about development in a lakefront area. And what the commission has always asked is, give and take. Net environmental benefit
Right.
by, you're not going to have a net environmental benefit from a fence. you'll be happy that you don't have people coming onto your property and bringing in all sorts of nasty things, but it's not a definite environmental enhancement. So I suspect that
Beginning, yeah.
you should try very hard to find a way to get the native plants put in there so that they can take over.
The cemetery did okay that.
Yeah, so if in doing that, putting a good native plant border around there, from their perspective, it'll reduce the goose impact at the cemetery,
That's
Right.
true.
which they don't like at all anyway.
Right.
So you can use that as leverage, not leverage, but as a bonus from them, for them saying, we do this, it's gonna improve your situation with the geese on, because they don't go up through vegetation to get onto grassland. They want the open space to get up there.
I think isn't it especially when they've molted and they have babies and then they don't want that to go through there because they don't want to endanger their babies?
Yeah, yes, correct,
So they kind of like stay away.
yeah,
Okay.
It's good to know.
So we want the vegetation,
right.
because ultimately,
Well, so do we.
and you do as well, but we also all know that unless we put the fence there, the trespassing won't stop and the damage to the bushes will not. The only way to have it done is to have them at the same time. Now, you mentioned once the fence is up, it'll never come down. I suppose that's true, but if it were to be filled in with vegetation properly, and the rocks are there, and they know that all the no trespassing signs are there are many of them, not just on our property, but
Nobody
on their
looks at
property,
them.
but they
Then they
bend
rip
them and
them
they
off.
break them and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's been going on for 50 years, so this is gonna be probably the best effort. It was your suggestion. I think it is.
So what's going to prevent them from just opening up another space and cutting the natural vegetation that's there right now?
Right, so it's interesting, you walk the cemetery, the road goes right to our property, but then it goes away at an angle. So they're gonna have to trek to do that. And, you know, what's gonna stop them? Us watching them and making sure they don't.
Well, I was thinking in particular an area that's gotten really thin because perhaps the cemetery has landscaped a little close to the water's edge. So, I mean, that's just a prime candidate for further mangling by people
Right.
who have no,
Yeah. I mean, the space
Interest.
as you come down and go around, that
the one
other
that's pretty
corner
much straight ahead, yeah.
That's pretty thin there too, so,
Yeah,
Right.
that's my fear,
right,
that right as you go around the corner, there's a
yeah.
spot there.
Yeah.
So if we choose the proper rocks, I mean, I guess our view and what we had talked about was there are a couple of areas. There's the 2 boat launches, and then there's an area where I told you last year I caught a guy cutting trees down. I had to yell at him. It wasn't
Never
Willow-
seen that happen.
It wasn't Willow, yeah, right. It wasn't Willow Grove, it was just some character with a fishing rod, you know, and I said, you know, I yelled at him, leave, you know. I work for the cemetery. I said, no, you don't, you're lying, leave. And he left, you know. So, you know, we are gonna have to be diligent on our end, like we've been doing for many years. but-
Just think out what you want to do and be, you know, really complete in your description and in your, you can do a hand-drawn plan. That, one of those dark overlays, excuse me, aerial photos is a good thing to work off of, but perhaps if you were to just outline, you know, copy over the outline of it and where the opening is and exactly where you want the rocks and how many and how large they're going to be. I mean, details, details, details. Leave nothing up for grabs or, you know, interpretation,
Right,
okay?
okay.
Same with the fence. If and when you propose that, I think it's going to take a little thinking and a little bit of finagling as far as if you're going to plant plants there and such.
Your property doesn't come up into the grass area, right?
Our property does not, high water
Okay.
mark, no.
One thing I noticed when I was down there, that there's nothing to stop anybody from pulling over the side. You can see it's well worn right where that improvised ramp is. And maybe if the cemetery, who's concerned about what's happening, could find a way of preventing them from pulling over there. I mean, there's a couple spots here that's wide open. There's nothing to stop anybody from pulling over.
So I asked them, Andy Neufeld is a great guy. He's the president of the board of the cemetery. And he said, no, we can't do that because that is parking for grave visitors. Now, really, it is parking for people who fish, but it's also, they don't have enough parking, apparently, you know. So, because rocks there would have been perfect as well, large rocks there to keep people from parking in that area, you know. But they said no.
Anything else from Jeff? Peter? Jim?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll see you next month then?
Okay,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Speaking of next month, Diana, do you have the schedule of our meetings for next year?
What's that?
Well, not with me, but I sent it out a long time ago. I sent it out,
I think we're,
She did.
like in October.
We're in. We need,
I think we're good.
are we good?
Ben's there and Kyle's brother's there.
Okay,
We need
all
one.
right. All right, we're all set.
Good? Yeah.
We need
I
one.
will.
Okay. Could you resend it to me, please?
Players.
I had, somebody had gotten into my email and put filters on, and I was not getting all of my email that I was supposed to.
Boys.
I was getting some, but not all.
Make sure we have.
You still having problems with that?
I hopefully not. I think I've got it cleared out
Yeah,
now.
you did have a
but,
big blip in there, didn't you?
yeah.
We have company.
We do?
Yeah.
We do.
You want to update us on the dam, West Street Dam? I saw all of the,
Well, lucky for me, we have
we do have somebody zooming
consultant
in.
here to explain all of the details of this stuff.
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening, I guess. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Identify
Okay, great.
yourself for the secretary, just,
So we have two requests in front of the commission. Is it possible if I share my screen, will everyone be able to see it?
sure.
Okay. And this plan was sent to you, I believe, or sent to Jane. It says host disabled screen sharing.
Should be okay.
I'm still getting an error saying it, the host disabled screen sharing.
He said it's up.
Okay. There we go. Share the screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Beck, you need to take
Hey.
the square thing off.
So is everyone remember this project? I know it's an active construction, so I'm not sure if you've been swinging by the site. I know Jane has, but we're essentially replacing the outlet structure at the West Street Dam. And if you remember, we had previously designed to install a retaining wall right here on the southern bank of the discharge channel. And I have a photo of what it previously looked like before we demolished the structure. So it was previously kind of a failing rock wall. And we're requesting that in lieu of the gravity retaining wall, we build up this area like it was naturally with embankment material and lay natural stone on top of it for stream bed protection. So we've made this change on this drawing here that was sent out, and the intent is to build an embankment with fill material and then protect it with native rock. And then on this side, we'll keep the proposed retaining wall because it's a steeper slope and it needs that retaining wall protection. As I can open it up to questions, and then we'll move on to the second request, which is the removal of a few additional trees.
Would you point out where the wing walls are going to be located and where the retaining wall on the right side in this plan and the rock embankment on the left side of the plan will start and stop?
Sure. So this area right here, which I'm marking over in red, that's the wing wall. And then we have a retaining wall that is connecting to it that'll support the road that continues on past the screen. And then we have a retaining wall on this side that will connect into the wing wall. That will taper down, but it'll match the existing elevations. And then on over here, this is the area that will be building up the an embankment. You can change the color of this. It's like blue. We're building up the embankment. You can see the contours and the grades here and using the natural rock for the native rock.
So how high to how low will that be?
So our wing wall elevation, the top of it is 170. So we're starting at 170 and then we're sloping down to match existing grades around 163.
Isn't there a lip at the top part that's higher? Like
There is
like a piece of the
from the,
land that's a little bit higher at the very end there?
right here
Yeah.
or down here?
No, near the road.
Near the road, so they've excavated this whole area out. So there will be a little bit of a mound right here, and then we'll be grading it down to meet the existing grades.
An excavator is going to disturb the side of the stream?
So an excavator has disturbed up to the limit of work, which goes out kind of out to here. So this area will be built back up.
Have any of you gone out to see it?
I have 2 photos of the area.
Oh, you drive down and you say, I'm important, I'm from the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, Jane and I saw it one day last week. We were out there.
So this area over here has been kind of cleared and excavated, and we'll be building the embankment back up.
So she initially wanted to put riprap, which I love so much. So I said, well, what about if you were to use large native rocks? Would that work? And she thought that it would, and it sounds like it's kind of like a good middle ground, in my opinion.
Okay. When you say, what's the difference between riprap and native rock?
Riprap, I am told, because it has lots of broken edges,
Okay.
will leach iron and manganese and other things that act like fertilizers
Okay.
into the water.
And native rock is round.
Native rock, in theory, has been beat up and rolled around and in the water or whatever for a long time. It doesn't have as many broken edges.
Okay.
And rip rock has a lot of dust, very fine dust to it.
Depends on the size, too. Depends on the size, too. But in theory, it'll look more naturalized that way.
Okay.
And we have a lot of native rock from this project.
Yes, you do. That's why I mentioned it, yes. And it's been exposed for a long time,
Yes.
Okay.
so that sounds good to you all?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Our second request is to remove a few additional trees to facilitate the sidewalk install. And these should have been previously included. Now it's kind of our fault. But we have 3 trees where we propose we propose a new sidewalk that we'd like to remove. They are within the 100-foot buffer zone. This is the buffer zone right here. And I guess we're requesting that the commission allow us to remove these. We will be protecting this sycamore tree that doesn't, that won't be removed at all.
Oh, it's up there. So what are the species of trees? Are they invasive trees?
Yeah,
And you will protect the sycamore?
yes, we'll put up.
All right, I have a snarky question for you. How many trees were removed that weren't supposed to be removed already? You know what I'm talking
No,
about,
no.
don't you?
Yes. There were a few additional trees. I don't know exactly how many that
All
were
right.
removed.
So tell me these trees are invasives and that are you going to snip all of the vines at the base of the sycamore so it looks beauteous and happy?
We can ask them to.
All right, I would say that was a fair swap.
Fair swap, yeah.
Okay.
Seems to me those are invasives in front of them. There's nothing that concerned me
Okay.
that I recall.
All right. We didn't walk that far the other day when we were there.
No, I've walked that side a lot, though, and
Okay.
I've been eyeing them, because I've been keeping an eye on that sycamore, because it's pretty stupendous.
Okay.
Although it is invaded by vines, and the vines probably are not making it very happy.
Yeah.
So an easy snip at the base, careful snip at the base of the vines would be a big help, I'm sure. Not even pulling it down.
Wisteria or Virginia creeper or?
I don't, probably bittersweet. There's an awful lot of bittersweet around there.
Oh, yeah. That can be nasty.
Sure can. It's the bane of my existence in conservation land.
Okay, anything else?
Do you guys want to
No,
make
that's
a?
all. That's all I have for you, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So you guys should probably make a vote that it's a negligible modification, does not need an amended order or a new notice of intent? That's what the order of conditions probably states, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions before I request that motion? I want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minor modifications to the plan, with adding removing the wall to more natural contours, and then taking out the 2 trees. And snipping the base of the sycamore.
The
Vines.
vines at the base of the
Invasive
sycamore,
vines.
yes.
Not the sycamore itself.
Yep.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Opposed?
Sorry, one more question. Sorry, guys. Is there any kind of drip line protector, construction fencing around the base of that sycamore? And if not, could you put one up?
Yeah, we'll put one up, particularly once they start the work in that area.
That'd be great.
Okay. All right. All set?
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Well, happy holidays.
You too.
I'm going to pass this down to Mr. David. As requested.
What's that?
Thank you.
It's just stuff for the open space plan.
Oh, okay. Do you want to discuss South Street?
Yes. South Street's been fun. This is the one that's at the corner of Cedar and South. And I got a call from the potential buyer who had a P&S at that point, who asked about all of the signs they put up after she signed her P&S. And I said, oh, have you seen the order of conditions? No, she hadn't. So I sent her a copy of the order and everything. I said, they need to be there permanently, and she's had a lot of great questions, and she's all for it being a natural habitat and all. But they are pretty ugly, the bounds. Nevertheless, I told her that she will probably want to inform the mortgage company's lawyer, or encourage somebody that say that they're probably going to need at least a partial certificate of compliance before they close. So I went back and forth, and we just today received a request for a partial certificate of compliance because they've had their surveyor, a different surveyor in Spink, certify an as-built plan and the bounds. Now, the bounds are supposed to, Bob and I went out there, and we went, oh, they move. Oh, they come out. They were not permanent by
Secure.
any means. And so I said that needed to be done before they issued it, the partial. And so I asked the woman who brought it in today, she's a lawyer, she was going to bring it in last week, and I said, did they do that yet? And she said, well, they were supposed to do it last week. So Bob and I talked about this earlier, and I said, if I go out and double check to make sure that's been done, then I would issue the thing. She's closing tomorrow.
Jane, a thought occurred to me too. You know, when we were looking at the dry well on that right front corner, is that part of our issue, or is that somebody else's issue?
I didn't double check that.
I think
Was
there
that
were
a
two.
dry well?
Well, yeah.
I think the dry well was supposed to be on the side of the house.
Well, obviously, the downspout was not working because all the rain had fallen right over the gutters, and there was that trench, from rain coming over the gutters.
I suppose in theory that's your jurisdiction, but
Well, didn't they propose all the roof drains go into the ground on the side?
Yeah, well,
did.
that's
Of the house.
what I'm talking about, a dry
Yeah.
well, but the dry well isn't working.
If the gutters are clogged, then yeah, it's not
Then
gonna.
it's not going to do
Yeah.
that.
And with all the trees there, the old leaves probably, yeah.
let me see what the as-built plan
Gutters.
says.
Well, you could, I think, Jane, you took a picture of that.
Oh, I've got many pictures.
Yeah, but I mean, you could tell the water just runs over the gutter and right down onto the ground. It was so bad it made a trench in front of the house. So the dry well is not working.
The leaching pit's supposed to be in the back. That's the sewer pump.
Okay, but that round thing that we saw
Yes.
near the,
Yeah, and come to think of it, that's what my daughter has, something similar.
okay. All right. But I'm talking about, okay,
Oh, it's about the right spot, right?
yeah.
And then the leaching is supposed to be here. I don't know how that's supposed to do anything, but
Okay, but it's not working because it's coming right off the house and we got the trench.
well, did they put any downspouts into it, anything over here?
I don't know.
Looks like they want to discharge it out that way,
Yeah.
maybe. Or maybe that's the foot measurement.
I don't know. Okay.
Leaching bed, this was
Oh,
where the other
okay.
one was supposed to be.
Wait,
How that
let me-
would get over there is beyond.
Yeah, I don't know, but, okay, but this one right in here that's,
No, I hear you. Oh,
oh,
yeah, it's supposed to go like this.
yeah, but it isn't.
Okay.
So I think that should be noted somewhere. I don't know if
Okay.
it's, so,
I don't know if you can give them a partial if the system that was approved was not working as part of the original order
I
of
don't think
conditions.
there's anything in there that says that you have to prove it's working. I hate to say it, but
Just install. Yeah.
it's installed. It's
Is it
plugged up,
installed?
and they're gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Drain pipes disappear into the ground. I didn't get a chance to go down there yet.
I don't know who inspects those. I would assume the Board of Health or someone would.
It's all within a jurisdiction.
Yeah.
You want me to go down there and take a look?
It doesn't look like it's working. It looks like it
Yeah.
is gushing out. I mean, I can hold it until they show that that's working if you want. I just want to have it in my pocket because I know from past experiences that sometimes last minute emergencies
yeah.
are a little
it's-
frustrating and difficult for the new people who are going to move there too.
I fully understand
At no
that.
fault of
and
their
I-
own, yeah.
I don't disagree with it. I mean, as I've mentioned to you, if we sign it, the partial, and the work is not done,
Yeah, that's what I would say.
you don't give it to them, just
Like
like Dave Risch used to do. He took great joy in, you didn't do the work, come back and refile. And it works.
I've never checked for that kind of a leaching basin before, though. I've always wondered, and I've
Yeah.
always wondered if they actually would follow through.
Yeah,
If you want, I can take a check tomorrow.
Give you 2 cents worth. Well, Bob and I saw it, and it didn't look like it's working
no, it definitely it's not working.
because it came out above the little hole in the ground.
Yeah,
Whether that was an overflow, possibly, could have been.
Did they stay within the confines of what they could disturb? And did they put up the bounds?
Yeah, they did. They did.
You
They
did?
put the
oh, the
bounds up, but
bounds
they
were
have
there,
to
but
be.
you could
they
just
need
pick
to
them
be-
right up and, as we had one developer or builder come in and say to the homeowner, the Conservation Commission's making me do this, but as soon as they sign the certificate, you can go out and pull them out.
Great.
And you can do what you want.
I told her that she couldn't.
And that's exactly what.
I told her
these
that she
look-
couldn't. I said, gee, wouldn't it be nice if they put the concrete bounds or the stone bounds that were only a couple feet high like we requested? Instead, they're, metal
pipes,
posts yay
yeah.
high with this sign on the
Yeah.
front of them, and I wouldn't like to look at them. But she said that they were thinking of putting a fence in and anyway, and where could she put it? And I said, well, on the yard side of that bound.
But even so, I mean, those are definitely not acceptable.
Yeah,
Oh, I agree.
they're saving money by doing metal posts. It's a lot cheaper than concrete.
And I'm sure that I wouldn't be surprised if they were told or insinuated that they could pull them out after.
Yep,
So, bottom line, I want to make sure that that's done. As far as the other thing, I don't see what we can do.
you can make the homeowner aware of it, and she could do something about it
Yes.
maybe, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been making her aware of a lot of things that I shouldn't have been making her aware of.
Well, I
which
think they
really
should
is
be made
annoying.
aware of it tomorrow because we're going to have heavy rain coming in Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm,
Not snow, but good amount of rain.
yep,
So it's just going to make the erosion and overflow
much worse, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but the wetlands in that, not to say it's not a problem, but the wetlands in that part of the area are basically invasive overflow, yuckiness.
Yeah, we know that.
Anyway,
Yep,
so I'm not too concerned about that part, but the bounds, I think, are really important.
mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. I would recommend just signing it and having me go out and make sure that those posts have been set, and if they haven't, I'll just,
Yeah. It worked, yep.
I'm not that as dramatic as Dave.
Didn't we require, we stated what type of post to be put in there, right?
Yes, and galvanized pipe was one of the things that it said.
Oh, it was? We-
Because I double-checked.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things we include, but we usually, I think we said 2 feet exposed, and this is what, 4 feet exposed?
Oh, yeah.
It's just an
4,
eyesore.
yeah. Yeah, maybe even more than 4.
Yeah, it seemed awful high to me.
Yeah,
But they
but-
weren't set either.
So somebody was just too lazy to dig a hole and set them in.
Who knows? Who knows? I don't really care the reason, but we got to make sure it's done right.
And did it with a sledgehammer, probably.
No.
Oh, not even.
Wasn't even,
The soil, I mean, we were walking in there and we're sinking in
so-
practically up to our eyeballs. It's
Yeah.
really odd, wet soil.
yeah.
Well, it was before, but we walked it, so.
No, it was.
I mean, it has grass now. It
Yeah.
looks like it should be stabilized, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really.
No.
I mean, most of the trees were ash, white ash, and that means water at their feet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, well, so
Should we make a motion?
somebody want to make a motion to sign the partial certificate of compliance and hold it until all of our requirements are met?
Make that motion?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? None?
Go ahead.
You got a game tonight?
Yeah.
We have 2 days.
Probably should, yeah.
Is that a reasonable time?
Finally.
Jen, you want to quickly discuss the open space?
Not really. I
Okay.
have a meeting tomorrow with
Okay,
Heather and I believe Mark Craig and Renee of the Recreation Department.
okay.
And Heather, I don't know, it has my brain addled. There were so many changes and we were buttoning everything up just before COVID hit. And then, everything came crashing down. And every time I try to start working on it, I get interrupted. And it's like a puzzle. You got to continue. I got to go back and start all over again. So Heather seems to think it should be simple. So, and she wants to help in any way she can. So I'm going to let her because
Okay,
she gets things done, and my brain just doesn't function with this time. There was just too much information to think about, and all different changes that have happened in between our last meeting of the Open Space and Recreation Plan Implementation Committee, and now we have a 2020 census. We have to add climate change information.
Oh.
We have a new environmental justice population, so that'll need to be addressed in detail. And supposedly new. I think the
I'm
consensus.
gonna be
the
going there
census-
with her.
okay. Good.
What's that now? You coming?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky
I
guy.
told you I'm gonna be there to support you, because I gotta do part of this too.
All right, very good.
So
Anything?
we're meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Okay,
And I think I'll just go directly there after checking on West Street Dam, because I haven't checked on it for a bit. So I will be in after the meeting, okay? Okay. What?
Where is it?
It's at Booth Playground. It's at the Booth building.
yeah.
It's not at the
Direct
playground.
building. Okay. Anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
Sidewalk.
Oh, sidewalk, yes, sorry. Yes. We should all get out to see 61 East Belcher Road, because I don't think it's easy to see, but they are planning to remove a lot of soil and a lot of ground cover and such away from the wetlands, but I want to make sure all the wetlands have been found in the
Yeah.
back one, if there are any.
I was going to wait until they file and then do an organized site walk.
Bill
After-
Buckner said if you want to organize it now.
Yeah, he said you could now. He's only asking for a 21-day, a waiver of the 21-day requirement to open a hearing.
Okay,
And it's because of a number of administrative
yeah.
flaws.
Whatever, okay.
Yeah, so the next, he wants it to be open during the next meeting.
which is January,
23rd.
23rd. He says, feel free to schedule a site walk with commissioners. If necessary, we can go on multiple walks if it's more convenient.
But you want to schedule it at that meeting?
It's going to snow pretty soon.
yes, I realize that. Can we haven't opened it, can we schedule a sidewalk pre-opening? I mean,
Oh, absolutely, because
Okay.
you get distributed this information before the meeting, and in order to make things more efficient, if you were to
Okay,
go out
all
and
right.
see it, life would be
all right,
easier sometimes.
okay.
Fortunately, Friday looks like it's rain,
Okay.
but no snow over the weekend, so the weather might not be bad. It's going to get colder and
Yeah.
stormier next week, but
Yes, we got time.
We have time, but the ground is freezing and the snow could be covering it.
No, I get that.
I think that's the main concern. And they do, part of this filing is a delineation, and Lauren Gluck did the delineation. I have a lot of respect for her, but I do like to double-check things anyway.
When did you say the rain is coming in?
supposedly Friday.
Right.
So you want to do it Thursday, is that what you're saying?
I have no problems Thursday.
I can't.
Somebody's got an office party, can't make it though.
This is bad for me.
Yeah, I can't do Thursdays.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be raining Friday, that's,
I think you're right.
Friday has a 96% chance of rain.
Yeah, that's
That
what
would
I
be a
should.
bad day.
Thursday night, 24% chance of rain, cloudy Thursday morning, sunny tomorrow and Wednesday.
I mean, all next week, at least the first part of next week, it's gonna be 40.
Yeah, I'm available. Not on the 20th, but 19th, 21, 22.
Yeah?
No,
Yeah, I could do
okay.
the 19th or the 21st.
I'm looking at the weather, I don't have a calendar, so.
Oh,
where's
I have to
it?
work late on the 20th. I like to get outside on days I have to work all day.
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday or Wednesday.
Monday or Wednesday?
I can't do Tuesday.
Okay.
Me either.
Well, Monday looks like it's gonna be sunny, according to my weather.
Wednesday is possible with me.
Well, let's try and set one up for Monday then.
Okay.
Monday
19th
says
AM?
sunny and 42.
sounds
First day of
good.
Hanukkah.
Oh,
Yeah, for whoever. Celebrating
Okay.
Hanukkah.
At a time? What time would be
Let's
better
see.
for all of you?
Okay.
It'll be warmest in
Monday-
the middle of the day.
Monday morning, I've got a doctor's appointment at 9. I should be out of there by, okay, early afternoon would be fine.
What about you, Jim? You're shaking your head.
Early afternoon, like you're talking noon,
Sure.
1?
Whenever.
1 o'clock?
It'll be warmest then, too.
I know. All right.
I'm picking up somebody at the airport, so I will rely on you
You gotta work
guys.
from home that day.
I'm not working next week, so I can go.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Which day is that, 19th?
Monday.
19th?
No, that's the following week. I'm not-
So what time, 1?
Following week, yeah.
Figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see if
Try
I can,
for 12,
sneak
1?
out there before that.
Yeah. Yeah, he said multiple site visits would be fine. I'm assuming he wants to attend as well, like he
Oh, most
usually
likely,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the 19th, 1 PM. Meet on site, or can we get up into there?
I think I'm gonna have to schedule it with him. I could get out there. I'm pretty sure I know where it would be, the back part, but we probably will need direction perhaps. But I would like to get one more than my set of eyes on it
Yeah,
because
okay.
it has quite the history behind this. So try for 12 or 1?
1,
Okay,
because,
then I can have lunch.
yeah. Because I'm not sure how long I'm going to be tied up with the doctor in the morning, so.
Okay,
Well,
that's the 19th, right?
if we're gonna look at
Good
the existing wetlands that's in front of all the improvements, that road that goes to those buildings ends next to this lot, and the wetlands are right down here. So if we
Yes,
want to
but-
meet in front of that building, that might be a good place.
at the end of the roadway. I think that there is a fence, a gate up, so that we might need permission to go.
Well, Bill will be able to get that for us.
I've got a big set of plans.
Probably meet at the gate then, or meet at the wetland, which is right there.
All right. All righty.
So that's the end of that road, or
At the end of the road.
what's meeting
We'll
is
see each other gathering up in there, yeah.
down here? Because this is where the wetlands are, and this is where they filled in part of the, put in vegetative wetlands in here. Everything else up here is Foolish Hill, they call it, this that whole area.
Yeah.
I wonder where they got that name.
I don't know.
That would be interesting. I'd like to
Yeah.
know myself.
Fuck it, or not.
Yeah.
Maybe Jack knows.
What's that?
What do we think?
Jack would. I'm sure he would.
Nobody said anything.
Jeff and I were talking about it.
Okay, well,
Maybe.
let's wait till we adjourn.
Okay.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you, Mr. Beck.